Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Seventh Canto, Chapter 8, Verse 13. Lord Nrsingadev slays the king of the demons. Soham vikattamanasya shira kayad dharami te gopayeta haris tvaja yas te sharanam ipshitam soham vikattamanasya shirakaya dharamite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam soham vikattamanasya shirakaya dharamite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam soham vikattamanasya taya suramite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam soham vikattamanasya shirakaya dharamite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam. I have a few more. Soham vikattamanasya shirakaya dharamite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam. Soham vikattamanasya shirakaya dharamite gopayeta haristvaja yaste sharanam ipshitam. Well, at least when I saw Prabhupada everybody wanted to chant the sloka because Prabhupada liked so much, right? To hear the devotees chanting. Prabhupada was in ecstasy. So everybody would chant. That's why they couldn't put it on the tapes because it took too much time. Sa hi aham I vikattamanasya. Who are speaking such nonsense? Shira, the head. Kayat, from the body. Harami, I shall take away. Te, of you. Gopayeta, let him protect. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Twa, you. Aja, now. Ya, he who. Te, your. Sharanam, protector. Ipshitam, desire. Translation. Because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipable Lord come to protect you. I want to see it. Good, he had desire to see Krishna. Because he's a devotee. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Demons always think that the God of the devotees is fictitious. They think that there is no God, and that the so-called religious feeling of devotion to God is but an opiate, a kind of illusion, like the illusions derived from LSD and opium. Hiranyakashipu did not believe Prahlad Maharaj when Prahlad asserted that his Lord is present everywhere, because Hiranyakashipu, as a typical demon, was convinced that there's no God and no one could protect Prahlad. He felt encouraged to kill his son. He challenged the idea that the devotee is always protected by the Supreme Lord. Wow. Om Agana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajujatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatara Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namane Madhu Jojala Premaja Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora, try to get it mixed up, huh? Namaste Gauravani Shri Rupanuga Viruda Apasadanta Dvantaharane Namo Gorakishoraya Satchidvairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Rupanuga Varayate Gora Virbhave Bhumestvam Nidesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Tubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tushe Namaha Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Sudato Pangor Mama Mandir Matergati Matsarvasya Padambojo Shri Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Kalpadrumada, Shriman Ratnagara, Singhasanastho, Shri Radha, Srila Govinda Devo, Prestalibi Sevyamano, Smarami, Shriman Rasarasarambi, Vangsivita, Tastitaha, Karshan Venu Sanar Gopi, Gopinatha, Shri Estuna, Tapta Kanchana Gaurange, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate giri tat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dina Tarane. So if you'll all pray, Lord Chaitanya and Krishna Balaram will use me, then hopefully say something that will help us spiritually. Today is the first day of Kartik. It's also the disappearance day of Murari Gupta. Kartik, Prabhupada didn't say that much about it, but he said to offer the lamp and sing the Damodar Astakam every day. but he observed, he liked to come to Vrindavan, said he wrote to Gurudas, I don't know if they'd started construction or not, but the front land wasn't even secured yet. But he said, at least get my room ready, so if I come during Kartik, I have a place to stay. And then Prabhupada left us here during Kartik. He also finished Chaitanya Charitamrita during Kartik, so there's different things to meditate on. And when we sing the Damodar Astakam, it's a very, very advanced prayer. Varam Deva Moksham Namoksha Vadingva Nachanyam Vrinayam Vareshadapiha Sadade Manasya Virastam Kimanyai Kuveratmajo Bada Murchaiva Yadvat. When he's saying, I don't want any benediction, I just want to remember your childhood pastimes, especially this Damodar Leela, where he liberated Nala Kuvar and Managriva. So I'm not asking for liberation, I just want this kind of devotion. That's the basic prayer, and these are the standard prayers of great devotees that that have the great fortune to be personally with the Lord, but actually He's always offering us all benedictions, whatever you want, Krishna gives. So we should learn this mood. Prahlad had the same mood. There's many prayers. Dhruva, also Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was a very intimate devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he kept diary of the childhood pastimes, which is the basis of the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So very, very important. So he once, Lord Chaitanya he didn't study along with the other, he was a doctor, but never an ordinary doctor. He was a real doctor, but he also cured his patients of any spiritual diseases and made them devotees, not just cured their physical diseases. So he was, Lord Chaitanya had said, why you're not studying, why you're not joining to listen to me? And he challenged Nimai, and he said, why are you always challenging everybody and you're so puffed up or whatever? So then Lord Chaitanya said, all right, tell me what you learned today, and then they had a debate. But neither one could defeat either one. It was very interesting, because Lord Chaitanya always defeated everyone. He would defeat them, then he would defeat his own arguments, just to show, that's what debaters do, to show that you're really stupid, because my arguments also can be defeated, because you can do that. But so Lord Chaitanya was quite happy with him for that. And Murari Gupta, he understood that this is Rama and Krishna. One time he came to greet Gaur-Nitai, both were together, and he paid obeisances to Lord Chaitanya first. And Lord Chaitanya chastised him and said, this is offensive, you should first worship Lord Nityananda, and he taught him the glories of Lord Nityananda. And then he had great faith in Lord Nityananda, so Lord Chaitanya said he blessed him fully. Murari Gupta, he said, at this place, Rama and Krishna, all dressed up for spring, engaged in amorous pastimes with their own different gopis. And Lord Balaram's rasa is especially wonderful. There's no limit to his dear beloved. He's increasing the loving attachment of the gopis who are not fortunate due to their young age to associate with Krishna. So Balaram engage in this pastime is very special. For Lord Chaitanya said, I accept him as my life and soul, and he's so humble. So not an ordinary person. And I don't know so much about Kartik, we know it, but Murari Gupta is a main player. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra his whole life. And he composed some prayers, 8 astakam of glorifying Lord Ramachandra. Lord Chaitanya asked him to please recite these. So he recited them, and Lord Chaitanya was so happy, and he glorified him, for his love of Lord Ram. He even wrote on his head, Ram. And he blessed him that, you'll many lifetime after lifetime. Told him also he's Hanuman. So his temple is still there in Mayapur, and we visit this very small temple behind the Chaitanya Mat. And it's fixed up now, but it's mentioned in the purport that anyone who, criticizes that because it's run down or something is a maha offender. Anyone who, Lord Chaitanya said, anyone who offends Murari Gupta, of course anyone who offends anybody, but Lord Chaitanya once, at the house of Murari Gupta, he was in ecstasy and he took a four-armed form and he started calling Garuda, Garuda, and then Murari Gupta came and Lord Chaitanya jumped on his back and they ran around all over the place. Murari Gupta said, don't you remember I carried you to heavenly planets to get the parijata flower and everything. So he had many kind of amazing pastimes like that. So he's not an ordinary doctor. He was older than Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya once, he went to his house and he took a form of Varaha. And he picked up a water pot, on his teeth, and I think Murari jumped on his back. But so then Lord Chaitanya started to explain that he's the source of all the incarnations, and if you don't know, I'm this. At first Murari was afraid of this Varaha form. And he said, don't be afraid, it's me, And he said, you glorify me. Start speaking glories, And so Murari Gupta spoke many glories of Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and the source of all incarnations. And then Lord Chaitanya was very happy with him. And so these things were not known, but when they were private, but when it got known to the world, then everyone could understand that Lord Chaitanya is the original source of everything. And then Lord Chaitanya started to criticize the Vedas. Said the Vedas, they say I don't have any form. And he was criticizing the Vedas, for saying he's no form, no whatever, all the different things, no arms, no legs. Then he started to say there's one rascal, Prakasananda, and he's especially bad. He's cutting me to pieces, cutting off my arms and legs and teaching his followers, and he's suffering a leprosy. He doesn't know why he has a leprosy, because he's preaching this Mayavadi philosophy. But the interesting point is that this was before Lord Chaitanya went to Varanasi and met Prakasananda, and he blessed him. He was never associating with the Mayavadis at all, And Prakasananda was especially criticizing him. So much so that Chandrasekhar and they couldn't stand it. And Lord Chaitanya they kept criticizing it. He's a babuka, he's just a sentimental fool, he's singing and dancing, and he's not a real sannyasi. But then he got invited. One Brahmin invited him and said, I know you don't normally, associate, but please come. So Prakasananda was there with all his followers, and Lord Chaitanya sat in the foot washing place, and Prakasananda saw the effulgence, and Mayavadi, they thought he was Narayan, they asked him to sit in the front, which is a good lesson. If you sit in the back, you might get asked to move forward. If you sit in the front, you might get asked to move back, right? So, if you're puffed up. So then Lord Chaitanya explained why he was singing and dancing and how his initiation and all these different things. And Harinama Eva Kevalam. So Prakasananda, at least for, I don't know how long it lasted, but many of his followers became devotees, by hearing that, and they changed because they could understand that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did things like that, like go back to when he was debating with Murari. So after that, he touched Murari's body, and Murari felt this complete transcendental bliss and ecstasy that he'd never felt before. So he thought, he's the Supreme Lord, he's not an ordinary person. He just touched my body and I'm overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy. And no one else could know so much. That's the same way Prakasananda's followers were. After Lord Chaitanya explained the Atmarama verse to Sanatana Goswami, and the main follower of Prakasananda that was equal to him in learning heard Lord Chaitanya give that explanation in 60 different ways, and then he surrendered. So this is how Lord Chaitanya would conquer everybody. Then Murari went home after that, and he was in ecstasy and he was acting in very strange ways. His wife was cooking rice and he was throwing it on the floor and saying, eat, 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 eat. And the wife knew he's a Mahabhagavat, so she didn't get too upset. The next day Lord Chaitanya came and said, you're a doctor, I have indigestion, you fed me. He said, what do you mean? You made me eat too much. He said, don't you remember you're throwing all this rice on the floor and saying eat and eat, and I was eating all of it. So now I need a cure. And the cure is for indigestion, he said, drinking water. So he took Murari's water pot, drank water, and then said, it's all right. So Lord Chaitanya was condemning the Mayavadis for all these things, and anyone who offends devotees. So Kartik, you have the Murti there yet? Yasoda and Krishna. And all the parikrams start tomorrow. So many devotees will be doing all these things. The Kartik Vrats are very, very wonderful for developing spontaneous devotional service. The main thing, I'm glad to see that in past years I don't see, it used to be devotees always put up this long list of tapasya you could do during Kartik, don't take this, don't take that, don't eat this, don't do that. But the real thing is chant, hear, render service, chanting and hearing. That's why the parikrams go on where it's just all day kirtan or katha, and also walking in the holy dham is in itself purifying. But if we combine that with hearing and chanting and all the different pastimes of Krishna. And if we really think deeply about this pastime of Damodar Leela, we've heard more and more, and there's so many commentaries. Shivaram Swami, last year his book came out, Krishna Janani, Krishna's mother, all about Mother Yasoda. She's in a very, very exalted level of Krishna prema. When we hear about Krishna and the gopis, we usually think of the young gopis and the rasa dance, but the old gopis are also gopis. And there's a lot of pastimes with them, especially Mother Yasoda. And when she, like this Leela, that all the other gopis were there when she was trying to tie up Krishna. She wasn't punishing Krishna. She was worried because she was very busy trying to cook milk sweets for Krishna with all her special milk from her special cows, that she would go in the mountains and collect special herbs to feed her special cows, to give special milk. And then that was boiling over on the stove, so she left Krishna. And then he got mad and he started he broke the yogurt pot, and then he ran away, and she couldn't catch him, even though he's a very small baby. No one can catch Krishna except by love, but she had the love, so Krishna saw, he just wanted to increase that love. She wanted to catch him, to protect him, because she thought, he's mad and he's naughty and he's going to run off in the forest and it's dangerous. But to protect him, she tied him up, not to punish. So then he got really mad and he said, no, I'm going to really. But this is the thing, like Kunti said, and people wonder, how can Krishna, who's fear personified, is afraid of Krishna, but he's afraid of his mother's stick. He's crying huge tears, washing the black off his face and choking, and then so she got worried, about him and threw away the stick. And then he saw the intense love of his mother, so she could capture him. But then to tie him up, he wanted to show again, but she had seen the Universal Forum at 2 different times, but she didn't want to think of Krishna like that, in his mouth. So everything, she didn't, this is my baby. And Krishna, this is my mother. He wasn't like play acting like we do dramas, and the actor tries to get really into the role, but Krishna really is. He really becomes a baby fully on, even though he's still exhibiting all his mystic powers. She never thought of it. She never thought Krishna killed Putana or, Trinavarta or any of them. She just thought Vishnu saved my child because we're worshiping Vishnu, and then she did all kinds of yagas to, thanking the Lord for saving her child. That's a very exceptional, inconceivable Leela. Then she's trying to tie him up and the rope wouldn't go. And how old was Krishna? 3 years old or something? Right? Very small. And in the house, like I walked by some places yesterday, so many pots are hanging by rope, The village house in India full of rope, the bed is made out of rope, the rope is everywhere. Ropes for tying the calves. But the rope wouldn't go around. And she added up all the rope in her house. The other gopis are laughing at her, saying, might as well forget it, it's not possible. They had some idea about Krishna, but not, they always thought of him as a beloved, boy, but then she told them, you go get rope from your house. And finally, she's so exhausted, then the rope fit. And then Krishna, did the next thing, which is liberating the Nalakuvar and Manigriva. So I like to, read this story many, many times. And they were also, it's another, many things to be learned, but Krishna just crawled away. The very big trees, Arjun trees are very big and very strong. I don't know, I've never seen one. I think Dinabandhu said they're in Mauritius, and even the hurricane didn't knock them over. But so Krishna broke them just by crawling between them. And you might have seen movies of the lumberjacks, you know, when the trees fall down, it makes a lot of noise. And it's very dangerous. But so everybody came running, and there's Krishna just laughing in the middle of it. And they want to know what happened. And all the boys said, well, Krishna crawled between and broke the trees, and then these two beautiful men came out, and they're golden, effulgent men, and they offered all these prayers to Krishna. And they were thinking the boys are just making up stories. But some of them, at that point, when they realized maybe Krishna is not just an ordinary baby, but Mother Yasoda and Nanda, they could never think like that. And Nala Kripa, they were rich boys. Prabhupada said, like usually happens to rich boys, they're just sporting wine and women, they're intoxicated, they're in the celestial Ganga, naked with girls. And Narada Muni happened to come by. Of course, nothing happens by chance, but Narada Muni, the girls saw Narada Muni and, you know, ran off and covered their bodies, but the boys were so intoxicated they didn't even notice him. So he thought to teach them a lesson. So he gave it, could be called a curse. Generally it would be a curse to be cursed to become trees. But he was wanting to bless them. And this is a devotee. They never curse anybody. Devotees only bless people. We read about the Brahmanas, you know, they curse people for different things, usually because they don't agree with them. But devotees never curse. But seemed like a curse that they had, but they were trees in what would become the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. They had to stand in tree bodies with full consciousness to learn their lesson. But then they were able to observe these childhood pastimes of Krishna, which is like the prayer is, that's all I want. I don't want anything but to remember the childhood pastimes of Krishna. The beautiful face, you know, the baby. No other benediction has no value. Even liberation, even Vaikuntha. Same like Kolavecha Sridhar. Lord Chaitanya, Nimai would harass him all the time as a child. And he never realized who he was. But then at the Viraha Prakash, Lord Chaitanya, he realized, and then he was lamenting how I never knew, because he's devotee. But that's Lord Chaitanya's and Krishna's special arrangement for the devotees. So Lord Chaitanya told him, you can have any benediction. He went by one, you know, you can have heavenly planet, you can have a kingdom on earth, you can have a heavenly planets, you can have liberation. Even Vaikuntha, he said, no, I just want to do my Ganga Puja and just chant the holy name, because he chanted all the time. He chanted so much and so loud the neighbors complained, you know, that they said these Vaishnavas, and they don't eat, you know, he's so poor, he doesn't work hard enough, you know, he doesn't care about profit, he's foolish, so his stomach is hurting, so he's making all this noise all night, like that. This is the materialistic people, can't understand the devotees. Finally, he said, what do you want? Lord Chaitanya said, what benediction do you want? He said, I just want to remember the face of Nimai stealing my vegetables. You know, he'd always tried to stop him, but then that's all he thought, this is the perfection of life. So if we can come to that platform where we don't want anything but to remember Krishna, like all the great devotees, we have so many examples. Prabhupada gives many examples, but I won't go over all of them. But So we have this opportunity. It's also tonight is a Sarad Purnima and a Rasa dance. So many special things. So many parikrams start tomorrow. It's very hard to know who to join, right? You got Dina Bandhu and Indradumna Swami, Lokanath's party, Lokanath Swami's party, going walking, camping out. It's all very, very great opportunities. We have the temple, and 24-hour kirtans, and we have all of Srila Prabhupada's books, Krishna book. Prabhupada made such a special effort to make that Krishna book, because normally he was going, he had the plan to translate the whole Bhagavatam, but at that time he had published the first canto, and that's all. He had some manuscripts, and he jumped ahead to the 10th canto, which normally you don't read until you've read and realized all the first 9 cantos. But Prabhupada realized all the first 9 cantos, so he came up with the Krishna book, and he read it himself many times and said, I want to see what Krishna has written. And he wanted everybody to experience these pastimes, so that the first volume, the old guys here remember that one, and distributing it. It was the first big book we really distributed by the mercy of George Harrison. It was very big. It was designed by Prabhupada. It's this big, that size, and it had very big print, 12-point print, and 64 pictures of all the leelas. Every leela had at least one picture. Prabhupada, before even anything, nobody had ever heard of these things before. And Prabhupada wrote to first Jadharani, he wrote out some pastime and said, paint this. Then he started writing to other artists, paint this. They never heard it before. And, I know that when I joined even, the only picture I ever saw was that Gopal Krishna in the Universal Forum. Krishna with the calf. So it was quite an amazing thing. And the artists were not really experienced artists. Anybody had any art ability, Prabhupada said, can you paint this? And they said, Prabhupada, they had to ask so many questions, how did Krishna wear his dhoti, and what about this, how did the demon look? And Prabhupada carefully explained everything. And he told them they were humble and doubtful of their ability. He said, just chant Hare Krishna mantra all the time while you're painting, and everything will be all right. So they did that. Good lesson for whatever we do, just chant all the time. You might be successful. At least that's success in itself, whatever the result comes out otherwise. But those paintings Prabhupada liked very much. They were sometimes looked like children's art. They weren't so sophisticated, but they were so full of bhakti. And then Gargamuni said Prabhupada actually was the artist. He just used the hands of the devotees because he directed them in so many ways. So he gave us a Krishna, and Prabhupada said, this is so brilliant, this book, that because in the Krishna book you don't have sloka purport. So sometimes, you don't know, is this a purport, or is this explanation, is this part of the book or not? But so that way he put in all the realizations of the first 9 cantos so that anybody could read the 10th canto. And he told us distribute it profusely. I just got the BTG with the miracle of, George Harrison donating to publish the Krishna book. It was a fascinating book, And the Brahmananda was in Japan trying to get it published, He has some kind of, Prabhupada wanted it at a certain time. The Dainipan, the printers, they were trying. Actually, they designed that cover, the original silver cover. The picture was given, but they designed the color and the typeface and everything. They were into it. They liked Prabhupada very much. But they said, there's no way we can finish it, by the time you want it. And Brahmananda was pushing them. He got on the plane. He was sitting on the plane and he heard a big fuss. And there was a big black limousine rushing out across the runway. And they held the plane. And the Dainipan Japanese guys got out the box, said, here it is. So they managed to come up with 20 copies. So Brahmananda took it and he was sitting on the plane reading it. And the man next to him said, what's that? And he bought it. So he gave it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, very good. How many were they? He said, 20. Prabhupada said, there's only 19 here. He said, well, somebody bought one on the plane, and Prabhupada was very happy. Then Prabhupada personally sold them, all of them. Then finally the whole shipment came, and if anybody remembers, it said on there, not for sale in India. So when devotees were wondering, why not? What's something wrong with it in India? But Prabhupada was so intelligent that in India, if it didn't say that, he'd have to pay a huge importing tax. So Prabhupada put that in the book so they could import for free and then give it to the life members. Because they wouldn't buy books, but they would become life members. He said, this way getting a better price. So we have access to that. Now we have the 10th canto with commentaries. We have other books with commentaries by all the different acharyas to understand this intense prema, maybe not understand, but at least relish, hear about it, remember it, and between the mother, because motherly love, everybody has experienced how intense motherly love is. We all had mothers, almost everybody. The women, many have been mothers. It's not an ordinary type of love. It's this example. Prabhupada said the closest thing you can find in the mature world of pure love is motherly love. But Yasoda's love is completely pure, and she's so fortunate that it's Krishna. She's just constantly thinking that she has to feed Krishna, she has to protect Krishna, So this tying up was protecting. She wanted to go with him all the time when they went to the forest, thinking it's dangerous in the forest, your mother has to come with you. But boys, you never want your mother around. So Balaram would convince her that it was not dangerous, and it wasn't hard work, because the cows just follow Krishna. We don't have to do anything. We just play all day. And that's what we do. We just chant all day. We just take prasadam, we kirtan, and talk about Krishna. So we're very, very fortunate what Prabhupada has done, and so many devotees did to construct this temple. The miraculous thing Prabhupada accomplished by the help of so many devotees, Guru Kripa Prabhu, Sarabi designing it, and not experienced, but somehow getting the thing built. Gurdas, Yamuna, amazing thing. Now in India, still it's hard to do anything, but then it was much harder. And they had no experience. Cheaters everywhere. Cement was really hard to get, but because by Prabhupada's desire, and devotees got the deities made. These are very special deities. The devotees that supervise the carving. Prabhupada designed this pose of Balaram leaning on Krishna. They asked Prabhupada, who's stronger, Krishna or Balaram? He said Krishna, and Balaram leans on him. He also posed for Radharani. And this, I don't know exactly, but Prabhupada posed to show them how Radharani's hands should be. He took great interest, and everything was set up, and somehow the temple opened. We had that anniversary a few years ago. So thank everybody that's attending, and whoever's out there in the radio land and the Vrindavan TV land, if anybody's tuned in. And bless me that I can have a useful Kartik, because we want to take advantage in Vrindavan. Whatever service we do is thousands of times more beneficial. Kartik also has special benedictions. Many of it's just to inspire us. But also offenses, are more worse. And Lord Chaitanya would, talked about anyone who offends Murari Gupta, they'll never recover. Such a dear devotee. But anyone who serves devotees and glorifies devotees, then Lord Chaitanya is so happy, Krishna's Prabhupada is so happy. So we have great opportunity. There's so many devotees, so many opportunities to serve. There's so many opportunities to hear Krishna Katha from so many different realized devotees. So bless me that I can take advantage. And we have a little time if anybody wants to throw in a few more realizations or questions. Somebody? Hare Krishna. No wireless microphones. Primitive. Get it? Can't hear. Is it coming through the speaker? I can't hear you.
Hearing the pastime of God is giving us so much, being so much emotional to hear about this Lord's pastimes. So sometimes we are completely deeply into it. We go so deep in the pastimes of the Lord by reading and by hearing, and we feel that something is different from what we have in Dwarka and the Krishna's Leela and the pastimes of Varuna Mahaprabhu.
Yeah? Not sure exactly what you want to hear, but Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna. So he also worshipped Radha and Krishna. I saw in the Prabhupada's room, I'd never seen before, but there's explanation of the cover picture. Maybe I've seen it from the original book. But that original cover picture Prabhupada designed, very clear. There's Radha and Krishna, and there's the Kirtan party in Goloka, right? So I've seen some people put this Goloka chart, they don't put in that Navadvip. But so Prabhupada said some devotees go to Vrindavan. Of course, there's also maybe Mathura. Some go to Navadvip, some go to both, depending on how much worshipping. So Prabhupada taught us worshipping Radha and Krishna and worshipping Lord Chaitanya and hearing all the Leelas. So these, whatever we hear, we just to hear it from the right source. Prabhupada gave us, and then, and anybody that, Six Goswamis, we want to hear about Radha and Krishna from the right source. We want to hear about, and then we go around Vrindavan, we hear about Putana, and we hear about Trinavarta, Agasura, these are all also pastimes of Krishna. very important. So just take advantage of, whatever we can. And we have so many devotees that Prabhupada had so many leelas all over the world. Like we have Shriti Kirti Prabhu here. And what is the difficulty? But in Vrindavan, so many leelas. Just to get this temple built, there's like many books could be written on that. Huh? Anybody writing that? Giriraj Swami is writing about Bombay. And it's taking him a long time because he just starts thinking and remembering more and more things, We've all heard the basic story, but all the different things Prabhupada had to go through to get these things done. Mystical, getting the front land and, getting the devotees to stay here and, the conditions. That's why he stayed. That's why he wanted his room first. It wasn't that he wanted to be comfortable. He wanted to be here so that otherwise the devotees couldn't have done it. He couldn't have tolerated Juhu if Prabhupada didn't stay there. Right? So we have all these different wonderful things and empowered personalities, and very, very fortunate. So we can take shelter of Murari Gupta. It happens to be his disappearance day, so it's on the list, so I figured it. He's one of my favorite characters in Chaitanya Leela anyway, so that's why I tried to look up, but there's too much. I couldn't get it all straight in a short time. But Lord Chaitanya glorified him and favored him so much. I was trying to find everything, and I never remembered any other particular devotee getting so much with Lord Chaitanya as him. Okay, anyone else?
One more.
Okay.
Just like Prabhupada, when he was leaving his body, he just said, I want to hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, 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 Ram. But now, we can always think that we should, at the time of leaving the body, we should think the name of Krishna, chanting the name of Hare Krishna, or we can chant the Gauranga's name.
I'm saying what?
At the time of death, we chant the name of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna, yeah, good.
Gauranga name.
Haridas Thakur chanted Gaura, 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 right? No problem. Someone asked Prabhupada, what if I think of the spiritual master? Prabhupada said, that's all right. Because he's thinking of Krishna. So, Krishna will make you remember whatever is best for you. Even if we forget Krishna, or we're in, a comatose condition, that's why Kulashekar prayed, let me die now. Prabhupada, maybe it was you I heard that from. Prabhupada very often just sang that verse, right? Krishna Padiya Padapanka Japanja, let me die now, while I can still chant. But let me chant now while I can still chant, because I might die any minute. Nobody can predict. I just heard about one godbrother who died yesterday. Janaka Rishi, yeah, so we can pray for him. It's just car accident. And he was driving properly. Krishna just took him for some reason. And some of us, may be really sick and the doctor says you're going to die right away. Some may be healthy, they say you're going to live, but nobody knows. So be chanting all the time, and then whatever it is at the time of death, Krishna, Gauranga, Prabhupada, Nrsimha. Like in Vaikuntha, it says that devotees take different forms of Nrsimha and all the different incarnations according to what they worshipped. Which Lord Chaitanya, Krishna takes all these different forms because different devotees want to worship in different ways. So for the pleasure of the Lord, they take these different forms. They can take any form they want, but, so just worship Krishna and whatever you remember, if it's Krishna, you're all right. Janardan?
Maharaj, with your permission, I'd like to read what Srila Prabhupada says about Kartik or Damodar month.
Okay.
Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12.
All right.
One of the most important of these ceremonial functions is called Puja Brata. Puja Brata is observed in the month of Kartik, October, November, especially in Vrindavan. There is a specific program for temple worship of the Lord in his Damodar form. Damodar refers to Krishna's being bound in rope by his mother, Yasoda. It is said that just as Lord Damodar is very dear to his devotees, so the month known as Damodar or Kartik is also very dear to them. The execution of devotional service during Puja Brata in the month of Kartik is especially recommended to be performed at Mathura. This system is still followed by many devotees. They go to Mathura or Vrindavan and stay there during the month of Kartik, specifically to perform devotional services during this period. In the Padma Purana, it is said, the Lord may offer liberation or material happiness to a devotee, but after some devotional service has been executed, particularly in Mathura, during the month of Kartik, the devotees want only to attain pure devotional service unto the Lord. The purport is that the Lord does not award devotional service to ordinary persons who are not serious about it. But even such unserious persons who execute devotional service according to the regulative principles during the month of Kartik and within the jurisdiction of Mathura in India are very easily awarded the Lord's personal service. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Another interesting that Prabhupada worked for Dr. Kartik Chandra Bose. You know, somehow the word Kartik was there. So very good. So we're all here, and other devotees are not here, but they're doing service also, and they're connected. But this, whatever you do here, any time will be so much benefit, but Kartik much more. So we thank everybody for coming, for Prabhupada's pleasure. Sometimes the temple, like, it's so crowded, and you think, ugh, you know. I remember one devotee told me last year, maybe we're preaching too much, you know. But we know Prabhupada may not come and stand in the middle of the crowd, but he would be so happy to see so many people coming to this temple and getting books and all the things Prabhupada wanted. The book distribution is going on, and the kirtan is going on. Indra's Mercy, the 24-hour kirtan goes on. Temple administration, I have to thank them. The deity worship is phenomenal. All the things Prabhupada wanted are going on very nicely. And so it's very special. And we can be very, very happy that, you know, this is going on, because everybody's getting benefit, whether they, you know, just offer the lamp or they don't even hear the song or the prayers, but everybody gets benefit just for being here. So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. Prabhupada was so happy when Krishna Balaram were installed. You can see that picture